Well, today I'm down at the seaside and I'm going to be looking at a truly spectacular structure that's been here since the 13th century, and they've had something here for over 900 years. And it is the Cobb at Lyme Regis. Truly fantastic. So come and join me and we'll have a fantastic time. Cobb dates from the 13th century and is an impressive work of absolute construction marvel. It was constructed by people floating barrels out and letting stones drop onto oak piles that they placed into the sea. Truly incredible, and we'll carry on with some more bits in a minute. And this is the view you can get from it today. Absolutely lovely. So we're going to walk on along here and see what we think. And I can see it stretching on ahead of me here as I walk along. And it's about 25 foot wide. And just to give you some idea of the height of it, we're going to have a look over. Oof, I don't like this bit much, but nonetheless. And that's it looking down. And you can see the wall going all the way around that it's constructed, and the size of the blocks are absolutely immense. We'll have a look at those a bit later on too. It's also been used in many films. I think it was used in the Willy Wonka film and the French Lieutenant's Woman and loads of other different things as well. But it's an incredible structure when you see the size of it, and to think how old it dates back to. Obviously it's gone through repairs over the years, but it is still just a phenomenal thing and all part of our history. And if I just scan around behind me here, you can see the sea either side, on that side and on that side there, and it's people just walk all over it all the time, but very impressive. Getting towards the end now, so we'll have a look here. And now on the end, just here, you can see they put in a breakwater of additional rocks in the years, looking over towards Charmouth area there and towards the town of Lyme Regis on this side here. And it's amazing, it cambers off to one side, so it's got a camber of around about 30 odd degrees. So when the sea is really lashing over it, like on the French Lieutenant's Woman, it's an amazing thing. But to think that people came out here in boats, floating stones on barrels, then cutting the rope that was attaching the stones on the barrels and letting them sink in the water and building these stones up one by one. And we'll just look at the size of these in a minute. They are truly amazing. And these are the size of the rocks that were floated out with barrels and then dropped. And is an example of one of the oak piles as well. And when you look down at the bottom, you can see some of the earlier stones are a little bit smaller and quite misshapen, so they must have picked up anything they could to lower them down into the water by the oak piles that were placed down in there. And if you look here, you can see an example of the old oak piles. And within the harbour here, you've got various old huts and things that would have been used by the fishermen. And there's an interesting thing here as we're going on. They look like proper old fishermen's huts, don't they? And the interesting thing here is rates of merchandise. There we are. You can see that on the 1879. Truly incredible. By order of the council that was, and W.J. Atkins, Cobb Clark. Amazing thing. But there's various bits on there, and at the Fisherman's Hut here too it says, the gods do not subtract from the allotted span of men's lives the hours spent in fishing. And you can see an example of the oak piles they still use today, but obviously would have been far more rough cut years ago. So looking across the harbour on a day like today, it's incredible to come and visit something that's 13th century that you can walk on. Amazing. And you can see it stretching all the way around from there. So I'm now going to walk up these dicey looking steps and get back onto the Cobb. Made it. So you can see it's a very popular spot, has been for years, and just nice to walk along it and think that you are walking in the footsteps of history with something that was built in such a complicated way with a lovely view. So I should really be walking this on a rough day with the sea lashing over it for the dramatic effect of the French lieutenant's woman, or anything else really, but it's just fun to walk in these places and to think about the history and the immense history of what it took to actually build this structure. Truly impressive. So on the beach here, there's been a structure here for over 900 years. And this structure, built in the 1300s, we know, has been here ever since. And built with a great deal of anxiety, I suppose, in floating it on empty barrels and everything else, just moving forward because of the sea. And truly a fantastic thing to see. I look at lots of old churches and other places that I can't really walk on and certain bits of it, but you can walk on this anytime that you want to, so it's a really special structure. And there was a disaster here in 1377 in which 50 boats were lost and 80 houses. It was swept away and then rebuilt all again with oak piles and empty barrels floating stones in. Truly incredible. So with the Cobb behind me here and the sea, I've had a fantastic time looking at this, and I hope you have too. And until the next time, goodbye.